Right guys, I want to tell you a couple of things, not what to be scared of when you ride a motorbike. Things that I was scared about. So, from a 125 to a 600, it's a bit different, especially in the torque and the power outband. What I mean by that, I mean a BHP. So I think in the Bandit 600 there's 80 BHP, where in like my 125 I think there was like 10. So that difference is quite a lot, especially on a two-wheeled vehicle. Nothing to be scared about, because the weight kind of helps you out when you get onto a bigger bike, and the balance keeps you upright a lot more on a bigger bike, more stable. You can go at slower speeds a lot easier. So like for instance when you're filtering, I'll show some today if I get chance, because there's some roadworks going on. Just take your time and you'll fly through. That's all you have to do, leave enough space. So, going towards the traffic now. This roadwork's been going on for quite a while now. You just got to take it easy. You know, everyone's obviously going at slow pace, slow speed. But yeah, you just got to take your time. So just take your time, you can see the gap go through. You know, as easy as that. And now it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Move your hips as well, your hips. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm doing it because I want to get through. It's technically like filtering at the kind of its... because everyone's moving now, but when it stands still, you know, you have every right to go forward. I guess you do when the cars are moving as well, but you got to be careful, because when people are moving they don't really tend to look at the mirrors, but when people are standstill they look around and they check, you know, before they set off. Well, you'd hope so. But yeah, that was a little taster. On to the next. Another little pointer that I kind of give advice to do is when it comes to fueling. So there is a reserve switch on the other side. Let me give you a little heads up. So it's here. So that has 3 different switches. I don't know what the middle one does, I can't remember, but the top is your normal fuel. So I guess there's a bit in a tank that is where it comes from, the main tank, and then there's a little that pocket, I guess, for reserve, and that is a switch downward. So if you ever cut out, first thing to try is the reserve switch, because 9 times out of 10 it'll probably be a fuel. If not, then it's something to do with the engine, and then something's buggered, so you have to get that checked out. But I did do that once on my 125. I was riding and it cut out and I panicked. So I was panicking while rolling, and I quickly switched it, because I just assumed that it would have been that. So I switched it and I went to reserve, and then bang, started while riding. So I was quite lucky. Yeah, so keep that in mind. And another one to add on fueling is every time you go out you can kind of set your dial. I don't exactly know how to, but I remember someone did do that, a mate of mine, and he used to reset it every time he goes to a fuel tank, but he'd have like an educated guess of when he'd have to refuel. Like say he went 200 miles, he'd have to refuel before he hits empty. But what I tend to do is I just tend to, when I go out on a weekend, I normally go at weekends, I normally just fill up at the start of the day. So say I go out on a Sunday, which is, you know, which is the time I normally go. I'll go Tesco or BP or Shell, wherever's nearest, and I'll just fill it up. Yeah, it might be a five quid probably every week, or 10 quid. The most I've ever spent on it is £15 so far. So that got me a right good blast. That did. I was out for 3 hours, so, and I went pretty far. But yeah, just keep topping up and you'll never have to worry. But another thing, make sure you do premium, because you know it doesn't doesn't really add up that much on a motorbike. In a car, yeah, you'd probably see the difference, but on a motorbike, I think it's nice just to give you a little bit, you know, your bike a little bit of better premium petrol. It's just better for the engine, isn't it? You know, so you just want to look after it a bit more, and you hardly notice. I hardly notice. It might be 50p more or a pound more. You won't notice. It's a bloody cheeseburger if you go McDonald's. Yeah, but that's really good advice that no one really told me. I had to kind of learn the hard way. But yeah, there you are. On to the next. Also, another thing to add is when you do fill up, especially where I live in Stoke, you can actually go in with your helmet, where I've heard some people get told to take it off. But yeah, on to the next. Again with the filtering, just take it easy and you can go straight to the front. Just watch out for cars pulling out. Yeah, straight to the front. So I'm out on the road. So with a motorbike, you are going to enjoy every second of it, unless you are in different elements, say for instance rain, snow or really high winds. Apart from that, you're gonna love it, and most people do like it in the rain. I'm surprised at how many bikers aren't bothered at all. Just another few little pros, you know, about having a bike, and things that, you know, not to worry about. Your insurance, it isn't going to be a lot of money. You know, it might be on a certain model and year, but on this 1999 Bandit 600, I'm paying, what am I paying now? Let's say about, I can't remember what I'm paying. It must be about £300, I think it is, for the whole year. And that is nothing, you know, and the road tax is 70 quid. I might be wrong in the numbers, but that is near enough accurate. So it's not going to hurt your bank, but what's going to hurt your bank is the gear that you buy. You know, because I've seen people out there that don't have no gear at all. Yeah, it's going to be cheap for them, because all you got to do is buy the insurance and buy the bike. But like me, I spent about £800 for all my gear. You know, my helmet, my gloves, my boots, my jeans, my jacket, and that's just basic. You know, that's what everyone should do. But yeah, you can get some cheaper options, but I got some few expensive or mid-range, because you can spend a hell of a lot more. So always consider the gear as well, insurance and gear, and fuel costs. So fuel costs, like I said previously, it isn't that much really. It's just you got to stay on top of it, because you don't get a fuel gauge. Like if you had a more modern bike, then yeah, you probably would have a fuel gauge. But on the older models, and I think some new ones, you don't either. I don't know why. You just got to kind of wing it and just check, open your tank and have a look down, but just make sure you don't have it in reserve mode all the time, because if you have it in reserve mode all the time, you're gonna panic when you're like, you know, going on the road and you got no power. You're thinking, shit. Right, now I'm gonna go into the price of my bike. You know, it didn't cost me a lot of money really for what it is. It cost me 2,500 this bike did, and you know, I got a really good deal on it really, if you consider how well built Suzuki actually is. You know, you can run these into the ground at like, I think they got to 40, 50,000 even then. Some people got like 80,000 on the clock, and they're still running absolutely perfectly fine. It's just maintaining your bike, doing your regular checks on your tires, your chain, your oil, you know, just overall observation of your bike every time before you get on your bike and you start it. Just give it a check over. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't take that long either. So trust me, you're going to love it. And another thing, don't just jump to 1000cc because your mate told you to, and you know, it's got so much brake horsepower, because you need to settle your skills and, you know, harness this ability to, you know, be confident. And it takes a while to build it up, especially on a motorbike and everything around you. You know, I always say that a 600 is a great starter bike, and everyone always told me that, but I did start on a 125 just to get my balance a bit more. Although it taught me some good abilities on the road, and it also gives me bad habits. So while giving me good habits, it gave me bad. So I always say, if you're going for a bike, either start on a 125 or go straight to a 600, but nothing too fast. Like an R6, that's all sports, you know, you're going to struggle to keep that down. That front wheel will want to come up all the time. That's about 120 brake horse, that is. Especially, I think the older ones are actually that much. I think they're 120 horse, where these Bandits, like I said, are 80 horsepower. So it's not loads, but it's enough, especially against cars. You know, you'll notice you always outrun them no matter what car. Okay, maybe not supercar, and especially a bike like this as well. So this Bandit is, you know, a sit-up. It is relaxing, you know, the suspension is soft, it's not hard. I guess you can make it harder, but I don't know how you do that. I've adjusted the bottom spring, I've adjusted that just because my weight, I'm a bit heavy, I'm 14 stone. But this is a great starter bike. It's amazing how reliable the engine is as well. You don't have to do that much maintenance, and if you do need to do maintenance, there's quite a lot of materials out there that you can buy and purchase that isn't so expensive, and you can assess it really easily. So the accessibility is so good on this bike because it is a naked bike. There's not many fairings or objects in the way, so you can replace items. It's just a great all-round first starters bike. So I definitely recommend this bike, like everyone recommended it to me. So I'm going to pass that over and recommend it to you guys. Anyways, peace out, and I hope you all like the video. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.